Cars Race-o-Rama. Easily my favorite video game of all time. It is a Cars game that was published by Incinerator Studios in 2009, and it's easily my favorite game of all time, like I've already said. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever game review on my channel, and I'm going to talk about Cars Race-o-Rama, talk about the story, some good stuff about it, and some bad stuff about it. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin the Cars Race-o-Rama review. This will contain spoilers from the game, by the way. So basically, McQueen is getting ready for the Race-o-Rama series with his fellow students until they get taken out by some other students that turn out being taught by none other than Mr. Kachiga himself.
Kachika! Kachika!
So yeah, Chick shows up and he explains that he made his racing academy so he can win in the Race-o-Rama series and shut down McQueen's academy, so that every car in the world will go to Chick's academy, and then McQueen will have to leave Radiator Springs because Chick will take it over, which is pretty far-fetched, dude. Like, seriously, you're taking away this dude's home. That's a bit far-fetched. Over in Radiator Springs at the Rust Bucket Stadium, while playing around with his tow hook, Madar ends up coming across one of his old enemies, who has a pretty funny name.
Let me reintroduce ourselves. Jog your memory like. I'm Bubba.
And
Bubba
has two friends called Tater and Tater Jr., who work for the Tater Towing Company. Very funny name.
Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys!
Hello, boys!
The first boss of the game, I guess, takes place in Santa Cabrera, where you go against this pink car named Candace, who is a spoiled brat. And back at the Rust Bucket Stadium, Madar is heading out of the stadium after a race when he suddenly is given a heart attack by
Bubba.
And then Madar starts to get into a tangent about the ghost light, which has probably become an iconic running thing for his character.
I don't like talking about the ghost light, 'cause it's enough to shake the rust off your bumper, the dirt from your windshield, the oil from your carburetor.
Are you done babbling now?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then he suddenly discovers something about Tater and Tater Jr.
Tater rhymes with Mater.
Not only that, but Mater rhymes with Tater, too.
Come on, let's try and find some more stuff that rhymes with our names.
The second boss of the game takes place in a desert called Autovia, where McQueen is an off-road racer, has help from Sarge, and is going against, what's your name again?
I am El Machismo.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's his name. Yeah, and you just go against him in the off-road area. Back at the Rust Bucket, Tater and Tater Jr. let Mater know that
Bubba
is giving them the towing rights to Radiator Springs, and Mater is kind of just ignorant because he doesn't realize that
Bubba
has just said that he's now going to take over Mater's job in Radiator Springs, and Mater seems kind of happy about it. But then when he starts talking about some of the people that they will meet in Radiator Springs, out of nowhere, he has a sudden realization.
Mowers. Hey, wait a minute. Radiator Springs has a tow truck, too. That would be me. I think this is what city folk call a dilemma.
The third boss takes place in Motoropolis City, which is a city that seems like an American version of Tokyo, where McQueen is designed as a street racer, has Ramon as an ally, and is going against an orange muscle car named Stinger.
Oh, the strong silent type, huh? We get it. A little cliched, but we get it, man.
Look out behind you, Lightning. He may not talk much, but Stinger's skills on this track speak loud and clear.
Back at the Rust Bucket for one final time, Madar has defeated
Bubba
in the race for the towing rights to Radiator Springs, and he's extremely happy about it, and so are the Taters, but
Bubba
reminds them that they have lost, which means they won't be the tow trucks in Radiator Springs. But the two Taters are actually okay with it because they made a new friend, and since their new friend won and their names rhyme, it sounds like they won too. Mater won, that sounds like Tater won, so yeah, I actually kind of get it.
Bubba
Just drives off angrily, And he looks over at Mater and vows that he'll get revenge on him and that he'll get rid of him if it's the last thing he'll ever do. Then Mater has a little bit of like a brain cells moment that's pretty funny.
I'll get rid of you if it's the last thing I do!
I'm sure you will. Oh, and I'm gonna learn how to spell IQ too.
And the fourth and final boss in the story mode, well I guess the main plot of the story mode, is at the Radiator Springs Speedway, going against none other than Chick Hicks himself. You and Chick face off at the Radiator Springs Speedway with some really awesome paint schemes and designs, as you can see. And then we find out something about Chick. We find out the truth about his students.
Candace, Stinger, El Machismo, and the Mins? I was just using them to learn how to beat you. Now, I'm the perfect high-performance custom racer who's gonna take you down.
God, he's a
So after beating Chick in the Chick Hicks Showdown, which is the final race of the story mode, driving as McQueen with probably the most awesome engine sound you'll ever hear.
Ka-chow!
You win the Race-o-Rama Series Championship, and then while you're standing on the podium looking very victorious, Chick Hicks comes up to you and rants about how he should have spent all of his time, money, and energy on himself instead of Candace, Stinger, and the other guy. And he says that he could have possibly won the championship if he didn't focus on them. McQueen reassures him that there's more to racing than winning at all costs, and that the best racers are part of a team, and the sooner Chick learns that, the sooner he will no longer be alone. Chick just screams and just lets McQueen know that he's gonna get revenge and he's gonna be coming after him, and he just drives off in a huff. Classic Chick. Then later on, Candace, Stinger, and
El Machismo.
come up to McQueen so they can...
apologize for how we behaved on the track.
Yeah.
She tells McQueen that El Machismo and her love the way he races, even though it takes the spotlight off of her. McQueen thanks them and suggests that they should join the Doc Hudson Academy and that they can come anytime they want. And then they just thank him for being a really nice guy. Well, except for Stinger.
I'm sure, deep inside, he's grateful too.
Something I absolutely love about Race-o-Rama is the car customization in the game. It's easily the best car customization in the entire Cars franchise of games, I guess. You get to customize McQueen so incredibly well. You can do paint jobs, the hood, the side skirt, the back bumper, the spoiler, and the tires. You can do all of that. And in the most recent Cars game, the only way you can customize McQueen is to add underglow to him. That's all you could do. And change the flame color. So yeah, that's one of the things I love about this game, is just the incredible car customization and just how far you can go to make McQueen look ridiculous. Another thing I like about the game is that they bring some of the Cars tunes back into the game. We have Mater the Greater, El Matador, and Tokyo Mater. All of these can be played in the game, and they're considered mini-games, which I think is pretty fitting. And also the drifting in this game feels really good. In the previous two Cars games, you basically just press two buttons to just do a small little slide. In this game, you press the drift button to enter a drift, and then you use the joystick you use to steer to kind of balance yourself out. Which means that we can finally do a turn right to go left thing. Well, this was the first game in the Cars game line, I guess, that could actually do that. And yeah, the drifting also feels a little bit light and bouncy, which I don't have that much of a problem with. One of the things I don't like about this game is the crash physics. It seems the physics engine sometimes doesn't know what to do with collisions, so sometimes you just like bounce off.
Come on, the ball! Watch the ball!
The other thing I'm not really a huge fan of in this game is a minigame called Guido Kart. I know I honestly like the concept of it. You're like racing with some of the smaller cars with like power-ups and stuff. But it's just the physics that really annoy me. Like, take a look at what happens in this clip here.
Pit stop, boss!
Like, what kind of physics are those? And and it always enraged me every time I played them because every time I like flew into the air, I would land and then my car would just turn 180 degrees. It had good music though. Overall, I think this is a really, really fun game. It has really good car customization, really fun races. The difficulty when it's on hard mode, I think it's pretty decent. The character roster is pretty good. It has some pretty iconic characters. Even though the crash physics can be a little bit wonky sometimes, that doesn't really make the game any less fun. It has really good driving mechanics. It has weird crash physics, like I said. It has really good characters with each character normally has their own kind of personality flaw, which I think is pretty decent. There's never going to be like a perfect character in the Cars universe, right? But would I recommend this game to you guys? That answer is yes. I would definitely recommend getting this game if you have an Xbox 360, because the Xbox 360 version of Race-o-Rama has the best frame rate. So if you have an Xbox 360, you should get this game. I definitely recommend it. It will be really fun. You can finish the story mode in at least 4 hours. And yeah, overall, it's a great game, and I would definitely recommend it. So thank you guys for watching my first ever game review. And yeah, so I'll see you guys later. This is Racing Gus 95 signing out.